toll on him and his family.
Me and my family still go out sometimes and search, but everything's been searched.
Everything has been searched, so don't worry about it. Don't revisit anything. Just leave it. Let it go. Just let it go.
We can really dive into at this time.
Dive into. Where would you like us to dive? At Mina's Basin? What do you think, Daniel? My mom was napping and came outside because... First of all, what time was it? 8? 9? Napping? How about sleeping in? And why is that the first thing you are saying? Because you want to give your mom an alibi and remove her from the actual event that led to this disappearance. Now, that doesn't mean she needs an alibi in terms of her being suspected of having done anything, but there's a strong possibility she has witnessed something very, very important. So he wants to remove her from the pool of witnesses. My mom was napping and came outside. That doesn't flow, right? My mom was napping and came outside. He feels a need to explain why she came outside. Because she heard me yelling, that's not why. There was a different reason. At one point, Mom came outside, and I have no doubt that there was yelling and screaming, and possibly from Malaya. Because she heard me yelling. I think it was more likely Malaya that had discovered something and was possibly screaming at the top of her lungs, maybe Thursday evening, maybe Thursday night, maybe early Friday morning hours. For the kids, there's distancing here. You see? That's the last thing. The very last thing. He doesn't want to say it any earlier because she heard me yelling. Malaya was playing on her phone. You idiot. Really, she was playing on the phone. How do you know what she was doing on the phone? And why is it important what she was doing on the phone? This is pushing blame. This is him saying, look, all eyes are on me, but no, I'm not going to let you get away with it scot-free. You are part of this. And you better watch what you're going to tell people. Because if you think you're going to make it sound like I did everything, no, I will take you down with me. He is worried. He is worried about the isolation from Malaya. He is worried about her potentially having lawyered up and now being advised well and possibly getting a deal. And the deal will probably include throwing him under the bus all the way. They don't have any evidence yet. Malaya was playing on her phone. Mom came out and she said Malaya had a look of what? Your mom was saying? Mom came out. Not she came in. Well, where were you, Daniel? This is the point I'm trying to make. Where were you that you saw what Malaya was doing on her phone? Were you inside of the house with her? Malaya was playing on her phone. I will spend a lot more time, I think, on this particular one. So Malaya was playing on her phone. And Daniel was yelling for the kids. Mom came out of her trailer, I guess. And she said Malaya had a look. So where was Malaya? Was she still inside the house? Was she playing on the phone outside of the house? Or was she in your house? Mom came out and she said Malaya had a look of worry in her eyes that Mom was home. Not a look of worry about the kids, but that Mom was home. No tears. She wasn't scared the kids were gone. Just a look of worry she got caught for something wrong. By the way, I cannot guarantee you, unfortunately, the authenticity. So let's do this for educational purposes. The story goes that one Canadian YouTuber spoke with Daniel or typed with Daniel via Messenger, passed it on to one of the trash channels where you have to wait an hour and a half to get to the reason you actually tuned in. And I'm not even going to mention that channel here because I will not promote any channels that can sidetrack you guys. So, this is, by the way, that would be intellectual property of Mr. Daniel Martell. I'm taking my chances of posting this and sharing this because, in my opinion, he's a person of interest, and this can only lead us closer to what actually happened. And it's hard for me to use the term intellectual property because if you see all of his spelling mistakes, it shines a light. Let's assume for the purpose of this video and the educational purpose that this is actually a message from Mr. Daniel Martell. This can shine a light on who Daniel Martell is. And I think that his education level is probably very low. He had no, the way that Lily and Jack grew up under him may have been similar to how he grew up. And he doesn't strike me as a dumb guy like Chris Proudfoot. Like Chris Proudfoot is limited, to say it nicely. I think Daniel may be the kind of person who would have turned out differently had he more of an educational challenge and had more opportunity. And so it is really awkward for me because he doesn't come off as stupid to me. Like Chris Proudfoot immediately, this guy is, that's a different story there. But I think that he probably, was similar in terms of not catching up with the other kids. Who knows what lifestyle his parents had lived? I think that he also was very much held back. And so the context here, Mom came out and she said that Mom was home. His mother? So that would have been her mother, his mother, right? Not her mother yet. She would have come later. Where would Mom be other than home? Or is he talking about her mother? I don't know. Had a look of worry in her eyes. No tears. She wasn't scared the kids were gone. Just a look of worry she got caught for something wrong. Mom came out and she said Malaya had a look of worry. So that's according to her having told him. He's avoiding to tell us what he saw in Malaya. The only thing he's committing to is that she was playing on her phone. So he's painting her as a mother who doesn't care. Now, to what extent neglect is an actual crime may be up for debate here. But what we're talking about right now isn't neglect. What we're talking about is the disappearance of 2 children. And he minimizes it by saying just a look of worry. She got caught for something wrong. What would she have been caught for? I thought you were with her in bed. And what did you miss, Daniel? I don't think you missed a beat. I don't think you missed anything. You don't want to commit to anything. But this is only done out of anger towards Malaya for leaving him. And the other messages will paint this picture even clearer. He is upset. Malaya asked me when noticed the kids were gone, should I call the police? Is she speaking about herself? Should I call the police? So I don't know if this is all in the correct order. I will revisit this at a later time. Always appreciate your input. I haven't asked yet, how are you doing? Like, are you doing okay? Do you have a support system? My support system is knowing the truth, that what will make me feel positive. He wants to feel positive. He doesn't say, how am I supposed to be okay with these children being missing? What do you mean? No, I'm not doing okay. But the reason it is so similar to when Chris Proudfoot was asked, how are you guys holding up? And he said, it's pure hell. So similar to what Daniel is saying, pure hell. What is pure hell? Not knowing where your beautiful children are? Oh, you forgot that. Chris Proudfoot didn't mention Sebastian at all. He talked about the negativity from other people. Katie Proudfoot had to interject and say, and the fact that my son is still not here or still missing. And she is not the type to necessarily interject when it comes to giving public interviews. He is more the type to cut her off and say, listen, you're way out there right now. You're not performing well. But she had to be like, doofus. She's asking about how you're doing with the fact Sebastian is supposed to be missing and you supposedly don't know anything and haven't processed his death because you wouldn't know he's dead, right? Because he's supposed to have walked outside in the middle of the night. They give themselves away with their language. My support system is knowing the truth. Yes, I believe you know the truth. You absolutely know the truth. And that what will make me feel positive. What is positive about it? That you're not the only one, that something happened to Jack, and we still don't know exactly about Lily when we're examining the language. But he said, when he was asked, did he have anything to do with it? He said, I 100% did not. And yes, I believe that. It was not 100% him. But he is in the spotlight, and he now says, Malaya, you should be here with me. You should be fighting with me. You should not let me do this on my own. Now I'm stuck here, and I cannot tell you the truth because that would implicate me as well. And I don't want to be implicated, but he is worried now. What is she telling the lawyer? Assuming that these are actual messages from him and that he is actually being accurate in this part, which I'm going to go to later. What will make me, he wants to feel positive. What does he want to be positive about? Knowing that I'm doing the right thing. After the fact, right? Did you do the right thing? Or didn't you? And did that lead to the kids no longer being there and not being found? I know my problems. Yeah, I know you do. I don't need anyone to talk to about them. I know, because your real problems you do not want to speak about. That's exactly what you're trying to avoid. I live them every day. That's what happens when you are a part of something that you now want to cover up. You still have to live with it. And you have nobody to talk to, right? Maybe your family. My family is great too. They are the best. Abandoned, and he says abandoned, I don't know, by Malaya. And yes, I'm just going over this real quickly because I don't want to make a 5-hour video. I rather have 5 1-hour videos and dive deeper the next time. More than meets the eye, the kids were marked absent. No kids were marked absent at 6:17 and 6:18 a.m. by Malaya. Who came up with the 617 or 618? I still don't know. You see, I'm not visiting any of the trashy channels because most of what they claim later becomes unclaimed, and I'm not wasting my time on that. But feel free to please comment and let me know. I have emails from the school to prove that. Yes, that's been proven, just dogs losing scent, and nothing in the words makes me think it's possible they were picked up. By who? Yes, very good. Who would have picked them up in the woods? There's no indication. Did I skip one? Let me see. No, I did not. Let's go on. I don't believe that because I became good friends with reporters from Global CTV and CBC. Well, of course they befriend you because, your story sells. And you don't know it, but you are, in the eyes of many, a suspect. And the more you talk, the more suspect you actually become, Daniel. I don't know if you were successful in the past in terms of talking your way out of problems, but I'm assuming you were. But you need to also understand that maybe the people around you who live around you are not that bright or not as bright as the general public, or at least part of the general public that is listening to you now on a global level. So the type of logic and approach you may have used in the past to talk yourself out of problems is very similar to Chris Proudfoot, who cannot handle the public. And he is obsessed with the public because he knows one-on-one he's good, convincing people of something. But all of a sudden, there is this huge audience and he cannot silence them all one by one. He can only go to comment on certain comments from people if they're getting too close. And his incentive is to keep the truth from coming out, from going viral. They tell me they kicked them out of the yard, and she tells them no media or questions must be asked. Yeah, his writing is really must be asked to the lawyer. So they tell me they kicked them out of the yard. Who did? Police? Kick Malaya and her family out? I mean, is that logical? Because before they said the mom needs to stay there. Is it possible that they said, listen, the kids are long gone, the kids are not coming back, we have searched everything, so you can go? But wouldn't that be cruel and unusual if the mother didn't have anything to do with it and didn't know where the kids are and thinks maybe they are hiding somewhere we cannot find them and maybe they will come back here anytime? So I don't know, but the thing is that he wants to paint her and her family as people that are unruly, and he is using them, the reporters. I'm not saying it, they tell me. So I just heard, when people say, well, I just heard something. No, if you just heard something, you either strongly believe it if you repeat it, or it's something that you want to go with and that you want people to believe. We don't know what happened there. They tell me they kicked them out of the yard, and she tells them no media. Okay, or questions must be asked through the lawyer. So I guess she has a lawyer for, oh God, to leave, and says Malaya is not doing media. They have a lawyer that's the chief's brother from the reserve she belongs to. Okay, she's Native American. And so I'm assuming that there is public fund, or there's funding available to defend people. To And the lawyers are probably much better than a public defender because they want to represent her rights. Lily and Jack were granted as soon as the disappearance happened. So I'm assuming that they were not granted Native American status because, I guess, of their father not having Native American blood at all, maybe. as soon as the disappearance happened, so now they are granted that. And I'm thinking that they want to distance her from Daniel completely. So they're saying, well, the kids have some Native American blood, and Daniel probably does not. So let's put them under our wings and represent their rights as well, I guess, under the, you know, at least at least officially. We're granted as soon as it's apparent, but we are denied multiple times in the past. Yeah. So, like I just said, Meadow was not granted status. Sounds very, of course. So Meadow would be probably also, um, you know, they don't want to give her status because she's connected, in my opinion, because of the connection with Daniel. They want to completely separate from this guy. If they include Meadow, then he will have some rights and he will be invited to speak also on her behalf with them. But they don't want that. They're saying, okay, Lily and Jack, not your biological children, they have some Native American status. They have a Native American status now, and you have nothing to do with it. They want him on the outside. You have nothing to do with this, Daniel. Get out of here. We will shut you out completely. And we are here to represent Malaya. And I guess Lily and Jack, at least officially. But we don't know what they know. We don't know if Malaya, is hiding the truth from them. I don't think so, at least not all the way. I don't know if she told them partially something, the partial truth, or all of the truth. I don't know. But maybe she trusts them enough. Maybe in the past she has experience with if this is the chief's brother, maybe they have helped her in some ways before, and maybe she trusts that they have her interest in mind. So who knows? Maybe she told them the whole story or almost the whole story. Lily and Jack called me dad. Oh, isn't that sweet? There we go now. And came for me for everything, never Malaya. Okay, so Malaya was a neglectful mother. I do believe that. But how about you? What did they come to you for? She had no control over the kids. They were wild with her, and with me listened and were well behaved. Now, people have said the kids were wild. I think I forgot who said it. That they were playing in the yard. They were playing. They were not being supervised, and Daniel sure wasn't there to do that either. But he wants to blame her. They were wild with her, and with me listened and were well behaved. Out of fear, did you beat them, or did you actually spend some? Let's see how much he cares about the kids, actually. I promised myself. You promised yourself, not Malaya or the kids? I promised myself. What a statement, right? Sounds like a politician. I promised myself I'd always be there for Malaya and the kids, and I'm holding that promise. Again, holding. Did you get rid of the children? Did you drive to either the Minas Basin or somewhere else? The water reference, remember, diving, surf, both of them. A lot of water reference. So I'm going to stick with that. Look at that. I guess that's the highest height in the world. The water will go up here. And from what I was told, when the water goes, anything will be carried out into the big wide ocean. And some of you have said to me, these bodies will never be found. It would be a miracle. By the way, if somebody says, I'm not trying to be negative, I'm not trying to dog on you, I'm not trying to be funny, that's exactly what they're trying to do. And he realizes now that maybe what he is saying will not resonate very well because people are focused on him. And they feel a lot more for the biological mother than a stepfather. However, her silence can be interpreted in many different ways. So some people strongly believe he was dominant, abusive, all of these. Others believe that she had more to do with it than him. But he doesn't want to tell us the details because he knows he'll go down and he has hope in something positive. That's always his one go to mechanism. He told us hope for something positive. He needs positivity because his thoughts are negative. And he is hoping that by doing what he is doing, people won't look at him and this will all just go away. Now, I'm going to, again, with the Minas Basin or water, body of water, I'm going with this. I will continue with this. I'm stuck now on this track because I believe this is exactly where we need to look. So he is not worried about the bodies being found, allegedly, okay? However, he has a hard time living with himself. And if you live out in the boonies and a small town and so on, where everybody knows everybody, and these are the people you grew up with, and they're pointing fingers, that can get you people. It's different if you live in New York City and some of your neighbors may be, bastards. You still have a mass load of other people that you connect with on a positive level, right? But he gets no more positivity from people. I don't know if people liked him or how it was before, but all of this is now taken away. And he's not dating anybody, he's all alone. And the only thing he has now is a building obsession with Malaya. Because this one person that was either, okay, let's say she was controlled by him. I don't know. I'm not going to, well, we will see that in his language. Controlling language always shows itself, and there are different types of control. I believe that Katie Proudfoot, for example, had complete control over Chris Proudfoot without him even knowing it because he was stupid. And she is not. And I'm not saying this to be nice to her. I think Katie Proudfoot was way above average intelligence. Of course, idiots will say, why are you saying good things about her? No, that's just a fact. You need to look at people and treat every new message from them as if they're about to tell us the truth, but you allow them to talk us out of it. And everything has to be independent from each other. The person who seems like the bad guy may not be the one who has done it. And the person who everybody likes, who's a sweetheart, may have snapped and done something really, really bad. So perception, be very careful with it. If it's truly your intuition telling you something, then use it as a guideline to look at that person's statement. But intuition also can be distorted. So the biggest and the best safety net for us is statement analysis, because intuition can be distorted by drugs and alcohol and pharmaceuticals, in my opinion only, also by misinformation and disinformation. So when the media, let's say you didn't know anything about this case and you saw the media report I recently posted, and the first thing they said, the children wandered off. So you may assume this as the basis to everything. And even when your intuition tells you something, it may be, okay, no, but never mind, then it may be tweaked into the wrong direction. And in a month or so, I will finally start the classes. It will be donation based. There'll be a small monthly membership fee. Just to give you guys a heads up, I'm working on it. It'll happen. I'm not being negative towards Malaya. Yes, you are. Jesus Christ. I love her. I love her. Okay, I believe that love is. Some of you said she's too good for him. Okay, I mean, I'm not able to look at things from two different. Yes, I would say so. I would say her life has gone downhill with him. Definitely. He was lucky to have her. being in that trailer with his mom and out in the boonies, and there's not a lot of women around there, right? It's not like you're living in LA and you say, okay, this didn't work out. Let me go to my regular hangout and I'll meet somebody within a couple of hours. No, it's not like that over there, man. People, actually, some of the men, they appreciate very much the fact that they have somebody in their life. And they will take in the children, but that doesn't mean they love the children. They say, okay, I'm happy to have her, so I will deal with these kids. It's kind of like that. While somebody in a big city may say, listen, or somebody who goes on Tinder or wherever, look, women with, I like children, but I don't like them in my house. And so, but he's willing to take on what he may have considered a burden. He may have considered these children to be a burden in general. Let's see how he feels towards them. Towards Malaya, I love her. Okay, that's how you feel. I'm not doubting that. But, maybe he doesn't love her, right? Maybe the love is dying now. Maybe he's angry and the anger overshadows everything else. But I never lie. BS. Bullshit. Bullshit. Everybody lies. In today's society, I do not see how you can maintain a job or a life, because people blame each other for so many different things. There's so much political correctness. People tell on each other. People criticize each other. People lie all the time, especially about numbers. People exaggerate all the time. See, I catch myself all the time when I say I have examined this 1,000,000 times already. Why do I say 1,000,000 times? Because I'm like, no, I examined it maybe 2 times or 4 times. You see, I'm avoiding the number 3. 3, statistically speaking, maybe the liar's number. But don't get hung up on this either, because sometimes it was 3 people that robbed you. Sometimes it was 3 a.m. that you get up. Sometimes it was the 3rd of March when something actually happened. So we cannot be like Nazis about this crap. You know what I mean? Like a grammar Nazi, SA rule Nazi. No, we cannot be like that. We can't. We have to consider everything, but also think about the statistics. You know what I mean? So we got to be smarter than that. We cannot say, okay, this is a rule. We have to. No, dudes. Not with me, baby. I love her because I never lie. Yeah, he has a lot of lies going on in his life that he wants to not think about right now. And he feels the need to tell you why he doesn't lie. You see, that statement doesn't stand on its own. And by the way, the term never, if somebody asks, interrogation style, did you kill your wife? I didn't kill my wife. That's reliable. I would never kill my wife. Not reliable. Never is so broad, and it is so attempting to convince somebody that you are a good person without actually giving us an accurate, reliable statement. So when somebody says, I never, red flag. See, that's not being taught in regular statement analysis. But when I see the term never, I don't underline it with red, but I do one of these. Maybe blue color, a different color than the one that I'm using to write with my hand, which is black usually. Like, let's look at this a little further later when the time is right, because that's just not me. Oh, sweetheart, that's just not you. Sorry, I don't believe you, Daniel. As a matter of fact, I am 100% convinced that this is complete BS. But you want to do damage control, and now, after having trashed Malaya, indicated something terrible that she may have had something to do with, That's all because of him wanting to tell us I wasn't doing this by myself. She is smart enough not to give interview after interview. Sadness turns to anger. First of all, sadness is wrong because you would be motivated to look for your children unless you accept that something terrible had happened to them and it's final. Then you will be sad. Then it's grief and sorrow and pain. They already processed what happened to the children. They know what happened, both of them. I say the truth even if it hurts. No, you're not. At least not to us. I'm sorry to. You're sorry to. You see, before, when somebody qualifies an upcoming statement, be on alert. Like she said, what happened was. No, it wasn't. I'm sorry to say that, but I live in reality, and reality is what it is. But please identify the reality. Tell us what your reality is. You have to live with what you did, and you're in the spotlight. And you're telling us now it is actual reality. People suspect you. It doesn't matter if there's no evidence. In the beginning, he said hardly any evidence. But I believe that now, after a month, and the children's bodies may have been swept away into the ocean, he's more confident now, saying, oops, no evidence at all. And those of you who think, yeah, where did the cameras get examined? At the toll booth or in other parts or only in the neighborhood? I don't know. It took them so long to get the local cameras going. Did police actually look? Well, maybe somebody listening to this now, living somewhere on the way from Lansdowne to Truro. Hey, do you have a camera? Is there something you may have caught? Are you filming the freeway? How about Thursday night, early morning hours of Friday night, May, what was it, 2nd? Yeah, maybe some people have caught something here on the way to Minas Basin. And I don't know where. So, yes, if you live, and I know people who are watching me from that area, if you think you may be able to help, check your camera footage. Don't let it be, even if you have no time to do it. If you live anywhere where something could have been caught, do not keep that. Look later, please. What's more, and because I live far away, I cannot do it right now. What's more strange is that nothing has been found in the woods. It's bizarre. Dogs went to the road and lost scent. Very short, right? Listen to how much he talked before. Look how not long-winded necessarily. It was actually information-packed. Not in terms of him providing us with anything voluntarily, but involuntarily. It's bizarre. Well, she's a storyteller. Personality-wise. Dogs went to the road and lost scent. What road, Daniel? Was it the road leading to your house or was it the main road? Because I think that, anybody, please use my channel to share real information. And thank you to the moderators. Thank you to Krista and thank you, Julia Turner, so much for everything you are doing. I would not have this live chat without these guys. I would not at all. Because the trashiness that I witness in some of these channels, in the comment section, everything, we are doing everything that we can to make sure that in the comment section, we don't have people sidetracking with obvious nonsense. And that it is conducive to us exchanging real information. And don't say, oh, listen to this video and it's 3 hours long. Give me a timestamp. Tell me what I'm about to listen to. Be courteous with us in terms of making sure we are freed up to look deeper and deeper and deeper into what we have to look into. What the hell? That's first why I thought maybe they went out to catch the school bus at the... What? The hell are you talking about? Catch the... What? Ugh, I'm not even getting into that one. I'm here for Daniel, not some so-called moderator. I only wish I could tell you. I only wish I could tell you. Why can't you find details surrounding Malaya and her family and the disappearance? He would love to. Remember when Chris Foot, he said, what was it? When the truth comes out, it'll be awesome, something like that, because he would love to, even though he doesn't want the truth to come out. He does not, he would love to. And he obsesses with people like Justin, Clutched and Pearls. You know what I mean? When people make blatant statements that are easily proven wrong, that's whom he goes after. He doesn't go after grisly true crimes or people like that. He doesn't go after me. He doesn't go after people who are too close. He likes people who guess around. And he picks the weakness and he goes for the jugular. He's like, you were wrong here. On the web sleuth thing, the one comment that not even they made, but somebody in live chat, which they irresponsibly repeated, like, oh, they're owning a funeral home. He went after that and spent a lot of time on that. You see who you are? You are a wrongdoer. That was his personality, Chris Proudfoot's personality, that he was probably the same way terrorizing Sebastian at home. And again, what was Sebastian in trouble for? Underage drinking, bringing friends over, having his, no, for leaving his backpack in the wrong spot. Stuff like that. Thank you for that comment from the one person who left it. I love to see you guys' perspectives, because sometimes you get overwhelmed with stuff like this, where it's always good to highlight certain things and make it crystal clear. I let you know that Malaya was set to stay with me and the baby to live, I guess, with my cousin. Let's go back for one more time. He could tell you much more about the disappearance. He knows exactly. And he's telling us that it will make Malaya look really, 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 really bad. And he he can only wish, because if he starts telling, she will start telling. And he may go to prison, allegedly, in my opinion only. Everybody's innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. Everything I'm stating are my thoughts. You may label them as opinions, as they are usually done by other channels, but I prefer the term thoughts. And I am inviting you guys into this journey of my thoughts. And by the way, if you would like, well, I get into this later. I let you know that Malaya, I will let you know, was set to, why was she set to stay? I'm set, ready, set, go. What were they getting ready for? Were they getting ready to fight together? A battle that'll be hard to win, a battle for their freedom? And they didn't want the baby there, because maybe they thought the baby would be taken anyways by authorities. Maybe they were ready for the worst, to go to prison. Maybe they were ready for all the truth to come out. And now, I don't know where Meadow is, his child. She will probably rename herself at one point later in life. Was set to stay with me and the baby, to live with my cousin. They were ready to start the propaganda campaign together for their freedom. And they knew it wouldn't be good for the child. They were ready for something big, but she said, I had enough. But 5 minutes alone with her mother after the first search briefing, Malaya completely changed. The mother probably said, "You hit rock bottom, girl. You hit the bottom already. But this is now, you don't have your children. You are not going back with this man. I will help you no matter what. But you are not, your life completely changed under him." Malaya completely changed. I believe it. I believe she completely changed to this relationship. And I believe that she blames that relationship. Not necessarily just him, but she says, "This is just the worst. I can't believe what my life has come to. The constant decline. And now my children aren't here." She couldn't even look at me. Yep, because they were in this together, but she has to protect herself now. Sorry, Daniel, that's how it is. A woman, when a let me not be philosophical, but when a woman makes a decision like that, it's usually final, unless there's some codependence going on, and even that codependence can be relative and it can be undependent, if you will. Whatever. It can change, especially when this is like an intervention that the mother had with her. She couldn't even look at me a hour before. Normally I say, don't say it for them, don't correct the language, but in his case, come on, man, what chance do I have? An hour before this, Malaya told RCMP she felt happiest and safest with me. Really? Okay. It was a different Malaya. Well, I think Malaya is now becoming the real Malaya again. Is this the last one? And here is the big one. I love her more than anything. That will never change. That will never change. Okay. Sorry, I'm checking some of your comments because I often talk about synchronicity, and sometimes the best comments come to me at all the right times when I least expect it. And yes, it's like an energy thing. People motivate each other. I motivate you, you motivate me. That will never change. That's how he feels now. Okay. I'm waiting for the chance to relive our first date over waterfalls and a walk on Big Island Beach. Um, Julia, you said there were no No, was somebody else who said there were no waterfalls on Big Island Beach? I haven't looked at this yet, but this will be interesting to also look at waterfalls. Unless there are waterfalls on Big Island Beach and they had a first date at waterfalls, which is possible. And he's a nature kind of guy. So, all of you who talk about, what did she see in him? Why was she with him? Well, he's a nature kind of. Maybe he showed her something that she hadn't seen before. Maybe he was charming. Maybe he was the kind of guy who just, he seems. A lot of people are not good in society, but they're great in nature. So, best foot forward. He took her maybe somewhere very nice. With the Daniel you first met. Ooh, what happened to. Aha, the Daniel you first met. He wants to turn back time and he realizes he is not the Daniel that she first met. What changed with you, Daniel? Did you become controlling, obsessive? Did you give in to your habits? Did you bring her and yourself down with who you actually are? With the escapism called drugs? I don't know, allegedly. She will know what that means. So he is actually, one of his motivations, in my opinion here, is that when he leaves this message, yes, he's talking to her. Some of you have said, also asked, is he silently communicating with her? Absolutely 100%. He has, I don't know if they're still talking in private a little bit, but that would be very limited. If I believe this is exactly what he wants from that person. I don't know if he wants, maybe she said, let me go reach out to Malaya and let me see. And he hopes maybe, but your kids are missing. Jesus Christ. The Daniel you first met. If you want to turn back time, bring me back the kids first. What are you expecting from her? To go back in time, ignore everything that just happened, that had happened? He told us how they called him dad and everything, and how she only plays on her phone and is negligent or neglectful. But dude, you are telling us and you are showing us that these kids are not on your mind.